plays right field and bats 6th. Abraham Toro at third base, batting 7th. Miles Straw in center field, and Martin Maldonado catches and bats 9th.
There he is, Darren McCacken. You can see he threw 5 innings last time against the Colorado Rockies. That was his major league debut. Quite an interesting line that you see there. In those 5 innings, throwing 61 pitches, did not give up a hit, also did not strike out a hitter. Allowed 1 earned run with those 3 walks.
Only had 1 swing and miss in that outing. It was a changeup. Of 61 pitches, just 1 whiff. And here's the defense behind McCacken that might be busy, as he's a guy that put the ball in play in Colorado. On the infield, Kyle Seager and J.P. Crawford, who won the Gold Glove last year on the left side. Shed Long Jr. and Luis Torrens gets a start at first base. His 3rd start at first this year. Normally a catcher. That's the right side of the infield. In the outfield, it's Jake Bauers in left, Jared Kelnick, the rookie, in center, Mitch Haniger in right. Cal Raleigh is behind the plate.
How about the pitch usage for McCacken coming into this game against left-handed hitters in that last outing against Colorado? Used that fastball 47% of the time and would use that changeup more than the slider. Separating the plate both from the glove hand side and the arm side against right-handed hitters. You're going to see that slider jump as opposed to that changeup. So 61% fastball and then the slider against right-handed hitters.
Big road trip about to commence for the Astros. They play the Mariners, who have been hot lately, and then they get the Giants with the best record in baseball and wrap it up with the Dodgers. And in the middle of that trip, the trade deadline will also be upon us on Friday. So a lot going on for the Astros as they begin play with Jose Altuve fouling a pitch away.
Yeah, and you saw that number right. 88 miles an hour is pretty much the average on that fastball for McCacken. He's going to try and 2-seam that ball, trying to get in on the hands and create the ground ball.
Picks up a strike according to the home plate umpire Quinn Walcott. This is Hunter Wendelstedt's crew. Walcott calling balls and strikes tonight. 25-year-old out of Long Beach State. 12th round pick in the 17 draft. And he starts this game off with a strikeout, his first major league strikeout, getting Jose Altuve on a breaking ball.
That was that slider we showed you. He'll throw it 35% of the time to right-handed hitters. And right here in a 2-strike count. Not much to it on our Mattress Firm Supermo. A hanger out over the plate. Probably surprised Altuve that he missed that.
I'll bring up Michael Brantley. Astros came off a couple of games where they swept the Texas Rangers, but only picked up 9 hits in the process. 5 hits and 4 hits the last 2 games. They had 5 hits on Saturday and 4 hits yesterday. Their offense still leads the way with the most runs in all of baseball. Michael Brantley had a good homestand, batted .316. He leads the AL coming in at .326. There's a called strike. It's 1-1.
Yeah, if you stay on the overall numbers between the Houston Astros and Seattle Mariners as far as offense is concerned, you have the best hitting team in baseball and arguably one of the worst hitting teams in baseball in the Seattle Mariners.
Up the middle, knocked down by McCacken, and that's going to allow Michael Brantley to easily reach first base. Infield hit for Uncle Mike. Starts off the long road trip with a base hit.
Got some help from McCacken on that one, knocking it down, taking the steam out of it, kind of putting it in no man's land behind the mound.
Well, Brantley, who has been batting .350 since coming off the IL, 37 games, now 38 games, picks up a base hit with 1 out. Here's Yuli Gurriel. Yuli, 6 for 17 on the homestand, had the day off yesterday. Did come in as a defensive replacement for the Astros in the 9th inning. He and Miles Straw both coming off the bench to play defensively. Takes one up and in for a ball, 1-0. Mariners have won 3 out of 4. They defeated the Oakland A's in 1-run games 3 times over the extended weekend series. They've also won 23 out of 34 going back to June 13th. The only team in the major league since June 13 with a better record than Seattle are the Houston Astros. Picks up a strike on 2-0, 87-mile-an-hour fastball. Brantley actually stole a base in that series against the Rangers, picked up a steal in his final plate appearance last night or yesterday afternoon, stole his first bag of the year. Upstairs, 3-1. So McCacken, in the span of 2 batters, strikes out his first batter and allows his first major league hit. First major league strikeout, first major league hit allowed after going 5 innings in Colorado with no hits and no strikeouts. He did walk 3, and he's now 3-1 on Gurriel. And he walks Gurriel. Yuli drawing his 40th walk, extending his career high.
Really got the sense that Yuli was just trying to feel out McCacken and see the pitch a little bit. Not trying to do too much. He really only got 1 pitch to hit, but in being patient, he gets that walk. Get a couple of base runners on for Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, to me, that's the biggest difference for Yuli this year.
Yeah.
2-0 pitch, outside edge, and he just let it go, figuring I'm going to see a couple pitches, and he was patient. He puts the ball in play so much.
Yeah,
if he would have swung at that 2-0 pitch, he probably would have put it in play.
Yeah, sometimes that can be a bad thing too, because you can end up rolling over, and especially the first time when you are seeing a pitcher for the first time that you haven't seen. You want to see that movement. You want to see how the ball comes out of the pitcher's hand.
Yordan watches the pitch come inside. That was the changeup at 80 miles an hour. Yordan in the 6-game homestand had 7 runs batted in.
Yeah, you can go ahead and sit outer edge. I know that McCacken's probably going to try and throw some of these guys in, but at 88, you shouldn't panic on that.
Just below the zone. He's trying to hit edges and just missed there. 2-0.
MD Anderson strike zone is going to show you that pitch down and in just below the zone. Quinn Walcott holding his ground, giving Yordan an opportunity. Wonder if you get a 2-0 changeup right here from McCacken. Slider.
Slider for a strike to make it 2-1. Of McCacken's 15 outs in his major league debut in Colorado, 9 of them were ground outs. That ball hit hard, a base hit into right center field. Brantley will head home. He'll score easily. Astros on the board in the first inning of the road trip. It's 1-0. Yordan Alvarez, team high 64th RBI of the year.
Got those arms extended. McCacken wanted to get that pitch a little bit closer to Yordan and try and tie him up, but a 2-seamer ran back out over the plate, and Yordan laced it into center field. 104 miles an hour off the bat. Easy read for Michael Brantley. It's good to see the Astros get on the board early. Talked about how the Seattle Mariners will win a lot of tight ball games, 1-run games, but if the Astros offense can get going and put up some crooked numbers early, the Seattle Mariner offense, to me, doesn't really have that offense that can play from behind.
23-8 in 1-run games. By far the best in the major leagues, one of the best records in the modern era percentage-wise with 1-run games. Here's Carlos Correa taking a strike. This will be a nice spot for Correa with Yuli on third base. Gurriel went first to third. Try and drive a pitch deep into the outfield. First and third, 1 out. Astros on the board on a Yordan Alvarez RBI single. There's a line drive, base hit for Correa. Yuli will trot home. Alvarez going first to third. Correa heads to second, safe. RBI double for Carlos Correa. It's a 2-0 game.
Didn't have a chance to predict that Carlos Correa would put a good swing on McCacken. I think this is a good matchup for him. He has been facing so many guys that have been throwing so hard with turbo sliders, and this is really a guy that you can slow things down a little bit and believe in your hands. Let that ball travel like he just did and fire that out into left center field. That was a great swing from Carlos Correa. The Astros did just enough to beat Texas, but if you get guys like Altuve and Correa starting to get into the mix with Yordan and Kyle Tucker like we saw, watch out.
And this is a great start to jump the Mariners 2-0. The Astros have had a lot of success against Seattle through the past few seasons. Kyle Tucker, first pitch swinging, fouls, went out of play. Remember the last time the Astros were in Seattle when the Mariners won 2 out of 3. It was right after Jose Altuve was on the health and safety protocol. No Martin Maldonado, no Yordan Alvarez. Robel Garcia also was not with the team for those 3 games in Seattle. So the Astros were missing 3 of their starting 9 when the Mariners took 2 out of 3. The Astros came back here and won the series, winning 3 out of 4 in Houston against the Mariners. Tucker doesn't offer the changeup. It's 1-1.
That's an excellent reminder because that completely changes the dynamic of the Houston Astros lineup. Not that they become any more pitchable, but that depth is a little bit differently, and you take some key components out of that lineup that you've got to pitch around. Now there's no relief.
Tucker drives one to right field. Well hit all the way back and gone. 3-run home run, Kyle Tucker, and the Astros are off and racing. It's 5-0. A pitcher who did not allow a hit or a run in his first outing has given up 5 in the first.
What a great job staying on that changeup. It was actually a pretty good pitch down in the zone, just caught over the middle part of the plate. And Kyle Tucker, the only way he hits that ball out is by staying back with the hands.
Last year, the Astros went 7-3 against the Mariners. The year before, 18-1. They won 25 of 29 games coming into the season, including an 8-1 record in 2019 at their ballpark. 7-3 in 2018 at T-Mobile Park and 7-2 in 2017. So there are a lot of bad memories for Seattle Mariners players with the Astros coming into town, and they're just making them remember some of those things right about now.
And you know, hearing Dusty Baker's comments before the game saying, you know, this is a big ballpark, it's tough to drive the ball out. If you go back in the history of the Astros going through Seattle, they've done a great job of hitting the ball out of the ballpark like that.
Abraham Toro in the lineup after a big 2-run home run last night. Goes back-to-back games with a home run. All Toro does the last few days is hit home runs. His 6th of the year, and it's 6-0 Astros and a lot of smiles.
Not crushed, but perfectly placed down that right field line. And since 2013, when the Astros moved into the American League, they have felt right at home here in Seattle.
Man, oh man. All 6 of Abraham Toro's home runs this year have been as a left-handed hitter, and that one caught by a fan just over the wall in right.
Now there's been more plays in the stands than there have been on the field for the Seattle Mariners in this first inning.
Yeah, they're only out to strikeout.
Poor Altuve is probably at the end of the bench by himself.
Probably hanging his head a little bit. But you're talking about a guy who had not allowed a major league hit.
Yeah, he's chomping at the bit to get back out there.
McCacken picks up his first major league strikeout, and then single walk, single double, home run, home run. Here's Miles Straw down to the count 0-2. Unbelievable start for the Astros, jumping Darren McCacken in his first major league start for a 6th spot already, just 1 out.
I anticipated the Astros having some good at bats and maybe getting to McCacken, but I didn't expect it to happen this quickly.
We were looking at his stuff before the game, and it was impressive what he did against Colorado, but the Rockies haven't been one of the better offenses all year. Today he was going up against the best offense in baseball. That one's off the plate. 2-2.
Well, and credit the Astros too. Some of the pitches that they have hit have been mistakes. They haven't really had to sit on the edges. Some of these pitches have caught the fat part of the plate, and the Astros seeing the ball really well out of the hand of McCacken right now.
Straw sends a fly ball into right field. Mitch Haniger to his right puts it away. After 6 consecutive Astros reached base, Straw retired for the 2nd out. 6 runs ties the most for the Astros in any inning this year. It's the 3rd time they've done so.
Some happy guys right there.
Hitting coaches are beside themselves right now. Alex Cintron. Troy Snicker enjoying this offensive outburst. Here's Martin Maldonado. Strike called. It's 1-1. When the Astros played in Seattle in that 3-game series in mid-April without Maldonado and Altuve and Alvarez, they only scored a total of 8 runs in that series. Their only win in that series was a 1-0 win when Zach Greinke was brilliant. Scored 6 already in the 1st inning as Maldonado fouls a 1-2 pitch away. Luis Garcia came in from out of the bullpen about 17 minutes ago. He'll be well rested by the time he goes out for the bottom of the 1st inning, but he'll take all the run support. A 6-run first for the Astros. They send 9 men to the plate. Home runs by Kyle Tucker and Abraham Toro, and the Astros lead early. In the 3rd spot, Ty France DHs. Cal Raleigh is the catcher. Luis Torrens playing first base, and then you got 3 lefties in a row: Jared Kelnick, Shed Long Jr., and Jake Bowers.
Luis Garcia on the mound for the Houston Astros. Has the luxury of that 6-run lead to start things off. As you see his season numbers, a beautiful 2.86 ERA. That whip right around 1. We were talking about that all day yesterday, so that is a very good number for him. And opponents being held to a 204 batting average. And his last start, probably one of the best of his career.
He was unbelievable in that outing against the Cleveland Indians. 6 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball. Didn't walk anybody and struck out 8. Only needed 79 pitches to get through 6 innings. Astros have won 9 of his last 11 starts as he begins with a big 6-0 lead facing J.P. Crawford. And Crawford takes a called strike. JP's been really solid at the top of the lineup for them since June 3rd, hitting .282, playing in his 100th game of the year out of the 101 the Mariners have played. Takes one inside for a ball, 1-1.
Luis was very efficient inside the zone, had some good pitches against left-handed hitters last time out against Cleveland, so showing some good sharp cutters.
And Crawford greets Garcia with a base hit into right field. So the Mariners leadoff hitter gets on here with a base hit to right to start their half of the 1st. During the Mariners month of July, where they played good baseball, 112 out of 19. Most they've scored in any game has been 7. They've done that 3 different times. Here's Mitch Haniger. Leads the team in home runs, runs batted in, runs scored, hits, slugging percentage, OPS. He leads in everything. They have not had him healthy in recent years. They were happy to get him back this year. He's been a big difference maker for Seattle, who starts the game 8 games over 500. That's their high water mark of the year. The Astros beginning the night 22 games over 500, which is also their best mark of the season in terms of games over 500. Good slider for a swing and a miss. Haniger down to the count 0-2.
That's what's made him effective against right-handed hitters is that slider and cutter mix. Cutter a little bit shorter, tighter, higher in velocity, but that slider take a little bit off and a bigger break on it. Very effective.
It should be a challenge tonight. He doesn't normally face 6 lefties in a lineup like he is tonight for the Mariners.
I agree. I think it's a good time for that test too, after we talked about how good he was last time out against Cleveland. Because he did have some success against some of their left-handed hitters, so maybe check out the tape, find out what works, see what adjustments he can make.
Yeah, of the 3 hits he allowed in that game, just 1 by a lefty. Indians had 4 lefties in their lineup that day.
Luis has faced the Seattle Mariners last on April 29th in Houston. 5 innings, 1 earned run.
Haniger pops one out of play. Counts 1-2. 1 for 10 against lefties in that start against the Indians. And that also included 5 strikeouts against lefties and 10 at-bats. Actually 6 strikeouts. But facing the righty here, Mitch Haniger with a 1-2 count. Ground ball towards short. Correa will go to Altuve for 1. Haniger out at first base. They turn the double play. Correa to Altuve to Gurriel. Wasn't sure if they were going to be able to turn it on Haniger, but they just beat him with that throw.
Ball rolled over as Haniger gets around it. Correa put himself in a great position, and the feed seems to be always beautiful to Jose Altuve, who turns it quick to get Haniger.
I should never doubt Correa, but I thought by him waiting on that ball, it might cost them a double play, but he knew exactly how much time they had.
Well, it was kind of nice to, I mean, he did sit back probably a little bit more than he thought. And again, you got to adjust when you get out on the road. The first couple of games, or the first game, is usually when you try and read how is the grass cut a little bit thicker, is the ball going to take a little bit longer to get here. But he actually created a situation where his momentum was going towards second base, so it made that kind of sped things up a little bit.
Ray and Altuve always chatting during the inning as Kyle Seager bats with the bases empty and 2 outs. Seager hits a high fly ball into right center field. Tucker and Straw converge. It is Tucker's play as Luis Garcia, after a leadoff hit, faces the minimum in the bottom of the first. Astros with a 6-0 lead after 1.
They like to win.
You're right. Here's Jose Altuve leading things off. Altuve struck out his first time up as the Astros batted around, and he swings to the first pitch here and pops one into left field. Coming on is Jake Bauers to put it away. Altuve retired on 1 pitch to start the second. The Mariners have been playing really well at home this year. 32-21 coming into tonight. They're 3 games under on the road, but 11 over at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, including winning 3 out of 4 against the Oakland A's. A's have the night off tonight. The Astros lead the A's by 5.5 and Seattle by 7 as play began tonight. So after this series, the Astros will lead Seattle anywhere from 4 to 10 games, depending on how this 3-game series goes. Michael Brantley got things rolling in that first inning with a little infield hit off the glove of the starter Darren McCacken. Hits this one up the middle, and it's off J.P. Crawford, the 2020 Gold Glove winner. Has a play right in front of him, and That should be an error.
I think that ground ball just had lunch. A little bit of top spin.
Ooh.
J.P. Crawford didn't get leather on it. Got more quad than it did glove. Here we go again.
By lunch, are you saying it ate him up?
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, Blummer, we love Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
They gave him a hit.
They love him more.
They gave Michael Brantley a hit.
That's how you protect a Gold Glover. Sacrifice the rookie pitcher for the infielder.
I mean, that's an automatic ground ball. Michael's even smiling at first base.
Well, did you see? That might have been why J.P. Crawford was laughing too.
I mean, that's as routine as it gets.
You got your entire body in front of it.
So Michael's 2 for 2 with 2 infield hits. Yuli Gurriel takes a strike.
Tell you what, that score, whoever's keeping score in Seattle is going to get maybe a case of wine from Michael and from J.P. Crawford. That's winning.
You won't get a case of wine from Carlos Correa, who lost the Gold Glove to Crawford last year.
Exactly. And I would imagine McCacken's probably not too happy about it.
It's inside for a ball, 1-2. I mean, I was already writing down E6, and it popped up on the scoreboard as a hit.
I've got the whiteout out.
That was probably, I got to think that one's eventually changed, whether it's later on tonight or upon further review from MLB. But for now, Michael's 2 for 2. Oh, look out. Got him on the elbow guard, fortunately, but Yuli hit with a 1-2 pitch.
Two-seamer that just runs in and just Yuli could not stay away from it. The only good thing is it did catch that elbow pad, it seems, from our vantage point.
Fourth time Yuli's been hit by a pitch this year. He got hit on that homestand as well. He'll be down at first base. Yordan Alvarez playing in Seattle for the first time this year with an RBI single his first time up. So in the RBI race now, Yordan was 64. Tucker with a 3-run home run is up to 61. Altuve and Gurriel with 59.
Yeah, during that homestand, we talked about how good Yordan and Kyle Tucker have been, and Kyle Tucker has swung the bat so well at Minute Maid Park. But it's good to see him get off to both of them get off to a great start here in the first inning in Seattle on this road trip.
They combined for 15 RBIs over those 6 games in the homestand. Tucker had 8, Alvarez had 7, and they've already combined for 4 runs batted in tonight with a Tucker 3-run home run and a Alvarez RBI single. Want to get inside on Yordan here, it appears. That was a high fastball that he fouls away. It's 1-2. An infield hit followed by a hit batter. Astros have 2 on with 1 out. They've already put a lot of pitches on McCacken in this game. 33 in the first when they scored 6 runs. Alvarez pops one high in the air, left side of the infield. Infield fly rule called as Kyle Seager puts it away. So Alvarez retired. There's 2 away. Hey, we had Alex Bregman play his first game in a while tonight. He was playing for the Sugarland Skeeters in Oklahoma City. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored on Taylor Jones' home run. He has not played since June 17th, so a month and almost 10 days without a game. Pedro Baez expected to pitch tonight. Hey, a Breggy fan over there in Seattle.
Hey, hopefully everything goes all right for those guys. Start to get some of those weapons back for the Houston Astros.
Carlos Correa doubled in a run his first time up, takes a called strike. Correa with RBI number 56 on the year himself. Takes a slider down and away, 1-1. McCacken didn't pitch last year due to the cancellation of the minor league season. Started out this year at AA Arkansas. Was promoted to AAA Tacoma on May the 14th. He made a couple of starts at the AA level as he delivers a strike to Correa. It's 1-2. His 3 starts before he got the call up to the Mariners, he was 1-1 with a 1.42 ERA at AAA. Getting a chance to start here with a couple of injuries, including Justice Sheffield, who's out. Sheffield has a forearm strain, putting him on the IL. A lot of people think the Mariners might be in play for a starter at the trade deadline. We'll see how Jerry Dipoto tries to thread that needle, because he has a team that he wants to keep intact for the future, but also give them some help this year.
Yeah, the bullpen's been good, and anytime you can go out and get starting pitching, it's a good thing, but sometimes that ask can be rather large when you're going out there and asking for some starting pitching.
McCacken off the mound in a hurry to try and catch that pop-up, but it's out of play.
But I think what TK is getting to is that the Mariners are a young, talented team, so there probably are some players in that organization, if not on the big league roster, that might be coveted in return for a big trade of a starter.
Trade deadline Friday, 3 o'clock Central. No more second trade deadline. There's no more Justin Verlander trade deadline, if you will. Everything has to happen by Friday. Counts 2-2 on Correa. The Astros have got McCacken up to 50 pitches. He threw 61 pitches in that relief outing in Colorado. Ground ball, just foul. First time through the major league seeing these teams for McCacken. He did pitch in Sugar Land right down the road here on July the 9th. And actually pitched very well against the Skeeters. Went 7 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball. Did not walk anybody, struck out 4 in that game in Sugar Land. It's a different story tonight, facing the big league guys with 6 runs in the first inning and a lot of pitches through 2. That hit the glove, but the glove was off the plate. It's 3-2.
And I feel like that's where Raleigh, the catcher, might be hurting his pitcher a little bit, because usually the catcher will try and set up with that outside corner right down the center of the body, because the target for the pitcher has hit that catcher right where the glove is at. And that glove was 4 or 5 inches off the outside corner.
Rookie pitcher and a rookie catcher. Correa, a little tapper in front of the plate. Raleigh out in a hurry, and he'll get Correa for the final out of the inning. One hit batter, 2 men left on base, 6-0 Astros.
The Astros starters since 2019 against the Seattle Mariners, some pretty gaudy numbers. 2.69 ERA and 109 strikeouts in Seattle against the Seattle Mariners. Since 2019, some monster numbers as far as strikeouts are concerned. How about 109 strikeouts to 18 walks?
Luis Garcia will try and add to those numbers tonight, facing Ty France here. It'll be France, Cal Raleigh, and Luis Torrens, 4, 5, and 6 in the Seattle lineup. France carrying a 4-game hit streak to the plate, hitting .357. Garcia gets the edge on the inside corner, and France down to the count 0-2. France acquired from San Diego last season. Part of that trade that included Luis Torrens and Taylor Trammell. 1-2-3, down goes Ty France. 3-pitch strikeout for Garcia, picking up his first K of the night.
The Astros Youth Academy provides free year-round baseball and softball instruction, life skills training, and academic support for youth ages 7 to 18. Located at Sylvester Turner Park, the Astros Youth Academy boasts experienced instructors and hosts free baseball and softball clinics, camps, and other activities year-round. Registration is free. Visit astros.com/AYA today. TK?
Kaylee Griffin with us for some Astros After Dark.
She lucked out.
I don't know if I'm ready for Astros After Dark.
Oh, it's special.
Well, after that first inning, we know it's going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. And I think Kaylee's average time of game
That's right.
this season has been close to 3:45, 4 hours.
It's not good.
Yeah,
let
it's
me tell
unreal
you.
how it's happened to you.
My first game was over 5.
It was the longest game of the
Or
year.
second game, maybe the second.
I think both your first 2 games broke
Yeah.
records for the longest games of the year.
Yeah. TK's right.
I've seen some beat writers when I've come now to the ballparks shy away from me, and they tell me, oh no, this game is going to go at least 4 hours. So I apologize to everyone out there. Hopefully that will not be the case here tonight.
We're glad to have you aboard. We've got you all week,
yeah,
right?
we are
All
happy.
week long.
Yep.
Even the off day, you'll be busy.
Yes, we have the NBA draft this week, so we have a busy week here on AT&T Sportsnet, but Julia getting a much-deserved week off, for sure.
1-2 pitch is fouled off by Cal Raleigh, switch hitting catcher.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. As long as Kaylee keeps bringing the W's, we're good. I'll hang out as long as necessary.
Garcia allowed an opening hit to J.P. Crawford. He was erased on a double play, so he's faced the minimum so far. Raleigh was having a good season for Tacoma when he was called up. Made his major league debut earlier this month on July the 11th. And he hooks another ground ball foul.
Nice play by Perry Hill.
That's your guy.
That's my guy. Did a good job of funneling. I heard that about 758 times in my career playing for Perry Hill.
Funneling.
Yep, funnel it to the center of the body.
Look at him.
And those players are probably giving him grief about that too.
He's been at it a while. Turned 69 years old before the season. And with the Marlins, Expos, Tigers, and Rangers, there's a nice pitch. 96 dotted up at the knees. Raleigh, the rookie catcher, has a word for Quinn Wolcott on his way back. That looked like a great pitch.
No, that was a really good pitch. 96. You could see it just playing out at the bottom part of the zone, not dipping under it and catching a large portion of it. You know, there's sometimes you just can't believe a pitcher made a pitch like he just did. Luis Garcia just had one of those at 96 at the bottom of the zone.
Here's Luis Torrens playing first base today. It's his 3rd game of the season at first. Mariners have a very limited bench tonight. They've got 3 catchers on their roster, Torrens being one of them. And he's playing first base today, but they basically have a 2-man bench.
Yeah, you don't see that too often, even in the American League.
They're dealing with a suspension to one of their relievers, Hector Santiago, serving a 10-game major league suspension. Caught with something that was deemed to be a little sticky or tacky. His glove was sent off to Major League Baseball offices, and the appeal was denied. The suspension upheld. This is the last day for Santiago on the suspension, but you can't replace that guy. You can't.
Yeah, that's the big part of the consequence of being caught with the sticky stuff, is that your roster spot cannot be replaced.
So they have a 9-man bullpen, but only 8 are active tonight. As Torrens takes one outside for a ball, it's 2-1. Here you see the M's bullpen. It's been a pretty good bullpen this year for them.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's kept them in a lot of these games and allowed them to have those tight wins.
They're 23-8, as we said, in 1-run games and 10-1 in extra innings. Little cha-cha steps for Luis Garcia. The 2-1 pitch is a strike. Nice slider for a called strike. And it's 2-2.
That's that cutter at 88 miles an hour. The slider is the one that he threw, I believe, to Torrens to start things off that kind of backed him up. That's a little bit tighter, quicker spin, and the velocity is up. But what gives it that deception of being a slider is that depth. He's not flat anymore. It's got a little bit of tilt.
That had slider movement, but you're right, that was 88. There's his fastball off the plate.
Velocity's up a tick.
Yeah, it is. Thought we saw that last game too, coming off that long delay. Remember, he was given 12 days of rest between his last start before the All-Star break and his first start coming out of the break. And he was throwing high velo in that Cleveland start. And he's kind of matched it again tonight. Three-two pitch is hit in the air down the right field line. Tucker gives it a look, but he runs out of room. Astros will be careful with Garcia in terms of his total innings pitched. He comes into tonight with 91 1/3 innings. His career high in the minor leagues in 2019 is 108 2/3 innings.
And that's what else I liked about his last start is that he went 6, and of course the Astros put up a big run total, so it was easy to take him out of that game. But in the 6 innings that he pitched, giving up 3 hits, striking out 8, no walks, only 79 pitches.
Right, very efficient. Torrens stays alive on a foul ball at 3-2.
So if he can continue to give you 6 innings and stay around that 70, 80, maybe even 90 pitch mark and keep him below 100 pitches, I think that really benefits him down the stretch. Because again, guys like Luis Garcia who haven't pitched deep into seasons, it's one thing to get through September when you've never pitched into September, but then you've got to be available for the postseason at the rate the Astros are going this year.
Absolutely. He had one other start, the one in Buffalo, where he averaged about 13 pitches an inning, but that one in his last start is 2 best in terms of efficiency, and he strikes out the side in the 2nd inning, getting Torrens looking. France, Raleigh, Torrens
has been swinging for the power and the fences here recently too.
He's been on a nice little roll lately. Had 3 consecutive games with a home run in the homestand. Added some doubles into that mix as well. Now a big 3-run home run in the 1st inning, scoring half the runs for the Astros. They lead 6-0. Darren McCacken back out there for his 3rd inning of work. Already has thrown 53 pitches in this game. It'll be Tucker and Abraham Toro, who went back-to-back in the 1st inning. Then Miles Straw. Pitch misses inside for ball 1. Astros matching their season high with those 6 runs in the 1st inning. They also went back-to-back for the 5th time this year. Last time was in Detroit when Yordan Alvarez and Carlos Correa hit back-to-back home runs. There's that 2-seam fastball. It starts on the inside corner and moves away from the left-hand hitter. It's 1-1. McCacken's generally going to be around the plate, although he has walked Yuli Gurriel in this game and also hit Gurriel with a pitch. Tucker grounds one sharply to the right side. Shedlong Jr. waits for Torrens to get to the bag, which he does in time. Tucker's retired for the 1st out of the 3rd. Astros have, as we told you recently, played very well in Seattle, but through their history, they have always played the Mariners well. They are looking for their 100th all-time victory against Seattle. That's their best record, 99-60 against the Mariners, than any team in baseball. How about Abraham Toro? Got to start yesterday after getting the day off Saturday. Actually had the day off on Friday, then got to start yesterday, hit a home run. Even though Aledmus Diaz was activated before the game, Dusty Baker said, I want to stay with the guy who hit the big 2-run home run yesterday. So Diaz will probably be in there tomorrow, but Toro gets the start. He hits a home run again in this game. Good to see Aledmus back and active for the Astros. He is a valuable piece to this puzzle.
I completely agree. Plays a good shortstop, can play some first base to pick up Yuli if he needs to. Also can play a very good 3rd base, but that bat before he got hit on that hand was going extremely good.
So Diaz activated today, and Robel Garcia optioned to AAA Sugar Land. Toro takes a pitch away, and the count's 2-2. Or excuse me, 3-2. Well, Toro didn't make the opening day roster. Garcia did, but now this time around, with Diaz coming off the IL, Toro's the one that stays. He has been playing the majority of the games in Alex Bregman's absence. And the Astros have a really good record with Toro in the starting lineup. They are 17-8 when Abraham starts at third. The 3-2 pitch is a called strike at the bottom of the zone. That is the second strikeout picked up by McCacken in his first major league start. 2 away.
No Player Does More is presented by HEB. Here you see at third base, then at second base, out in left field. That's all the same guy. That's Mr. Utility for your Houston Astros, Aledmys Diaz. That's that stick we're talking about. He's no slouch when he digs in. He's got some pop in that swing, puts together some great at-bats, but moving all over that diamond for Dusty Baker offers versatility and some options to give guys days off if they need it.
Missed 41 games with that fractured left hand. Happened in Buffalo on June the 5th. It is rehab assignment at AA Corpus Christi. Also played a couple of games down in the Florida Complex League before he went to AA. Miles Straw flied out to right his first time up. Pitch misses from McCacken. It's 1-1. Gets that call on the outside edge. Straw down on the count 1-2.
McCacken's done a better job this second time through the lineup getting on the edges. It seemed like in that first time through the lineup was just kind of pumping pitches through there, daring the Astros, and they took full advantage of it. But now we're starting to see him move on those edges a little bit.
On the ground to second. McCacken has his first 1-2-3 inning of the night as he gets the Astros in order in the third. It's 6-0 Houston.
Over to our Twitter account at ATT Sports on SW, and I'll have the results coming up later in the broadcast. And Zach Greinke's ERA right now 3.48, Luis Garcia 2.86, and the other two are in between, so about 0.5 separating the four of them. You could really make a case that any one of these four could end up with the lowest by the end of the season, guys.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, here are the numbers across the board. Garcia approaching 100 pitches on the season and a 2.8 ERA.
That's a tough call right there. Lance starting out that second half against the White Sox, putting up great numbers. But if Luis Garcia is the guy that we're watching in his last start and this start, wow, he might be the guy.
He's gone over 100 pitches, or excuse me, 100 innings in his career with his last start. 93 1/3 of them coming this year. He's got 105 2/3 in his career, not including what he did last year in the postseason. Facing Jared Kelenic. Kelenic, a young star in the Mariners system. We did not see him when the Astros played the Mariners earlier this year. He was just called up on May the 13th. The Astros played the Mariners in a couple of series back in April. Kelenic just turned 22 less than 2 weeks ago. After making his debut on May 13th, he was sent back to AAA Tacoma on June 7th. Continued to hit well at the AAA level, 23 runs, 23 RBIs in 24 games. And he was called right back up on his birthday, July 16th, when he turned 22. But it's been a battle here at the big league level. 12 for 115 for Kelenic with 41 strikeouts.
And he's almost to 120 at bats in his rookie season, so that's a substantial sample size.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 pitch. Luis Garcia gets his 4th consecutive strikeout, one away in the 3rd.
That was the curveball. Good old-fashioned 12-6er at 78 miles an hour. Doesn't throw a lot of those, but he does throw them to left-handed hitters. And how about the location on that outside edge? Tell you what, if you just tune in and you're watching Luis Garcia in one of these last 2 starts, you're going, man, this guy, you know, he must have pitched really well to get himself into this rotation, but he hasn't pitched above A ball.
I know.
Well, I guess he has pitched above A ball because now he's in the big leagues, but he did not pitch in AA or AAA.
It's crazy to think about making that leap last year and doing what he is doing this year. The reason why the Astros had a 6-man rotation before the All-Star break was because they couldn't take Luis Garcia out of the rotation. He was pitching too well. Now Jose Urquidy on the injured list, so he's part of a 5-man rotation. This guy has been very impressive. He's going deeper into games now. It all started with that Dodgers game, the final start of May. Dusty needed some innings out of Garcia. Let him go 100 pitches for the first time in his career, and after that he was off and racing. 6 innings, 7 innings, 6 innings since the next 3 starts. One and 2 the count to Shedlong Jr. Shedlong only has 101 at-bats on the year. He missed most of the season with a right shin stress fracture. Came off the IL June the 7th. 95-mile-an-hour fastball fouled away. Garcia in his last start struck out 8. That matched his career high. He's done it 4 times this year. Got 8 against the Indians, 8 against Toronto, 8 against the White Sox, and 8 at Yankee Stadium to set the mark originally on May the 5th. He's already struck out 4 Mariners, or the first 7 hitters. Make it 5 of 8. Little change piece outside.
He threw a couple to Shedlong. He tried to throw a couple to Kelenic. They weren't as good. But Maldonado getting back on it. He actually got that first strike against Shedlong with that changeup. This is a put-away changeup. Everything going right for Luis Garcia early in this game.
I mean,
that was after 2 fastballs at 96 miles an hour and then just pulled the string and move it off the outside corner.
His stuff is unreal tonight. He's got 96, 97. He's throwing a cutter that's moving and diving. Here's a pop-up. Correa goes out. Miles Straw comes in. It's all the center fielder's ball. He has faced the minimum through 3, striking out 5 of the last 6 hitters. Luis Garcia leads 6.
But he's zooming in on his presentation. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded tonight after the postgame, only on AT&T Sportsnet. TK?
Kelly, thank you. Martin Maldonado leads off, swings to the first pitch, a breaking ball that he fouls off. Maldonado grounded out his first time up. Darren McCacken has settled in after a rough first inning. He's retired the last 5 batters he has faced. It'll be Maldonado, then Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley here in the 4th. Maldonado gets into one, deep to left field. That ball's well struck and gone. Off the back wall of the Astros bullpen. Martin Maldonado with home run number 7 on the year, and the Astros lead 7-0.
TK, that ball was unloaded on.
Woo!
Little hanging and banging on that one. That was a slider up out over the plate, and Martin Maldonado shot the bat head through the zone and barreled it up and launched it 394 feet. He leaned back on McCacken right there. No doubter.
I mean, going back for it is Abreu, and he runs out of room. That's the back end of that bullpen.
That's a bomb.
Altuve takes a slider for a ball. That's one of the longest we've seen hit by Maldonado. Altuve looking for his first hit. He has struck out and flied out. Takes a strike at the knees. It's 1-1. I love Jordan mimicking his run around the bases. So good. This team is having so much fun right now. There's a changeup that catches the outside, or that's a fastball that catches the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-2.
It's good to see him having fun on the road too. Can be a rough environment. They're going to run into some Dodger fans later in this road trip, but if they get things going in the right direction, it doesn't matter who's yelling at them.
Crawford has to hurry and beats Altuve with the throw. Altuve retired on a ground out for the first out of the fourth. I'll bring up Michael Brantley. Brantley 2 for 2 today. A couple of infield hits. Was credited with a hit on a ground ball misplayed by J.P. Crawford his last time up. Coming into this game, Brantley was batting .364 on the year against righties. That number moving up tonight. Takes a strike. Brantley with his 2 for 2, now up to .330 on the season. Fouls the pitch back. It's 1-1. 0-2. McCacken so far allowing 3 home runs, 7 runs. 6 of them came in the first inning on a couple of home runs. And an RBI double by Correa and an RBI single by Alvarez. Maldonado adds to the total here with a home run in the fourth. Even though he only threw 61 pitches in that relief appearance out of the bullpen in Colorado, McCacken prior to that had thrown 91, 92 pitches in 2 of his last 3 starts at the minor league level. So even though he's at 76 right now, there's still possibility he could go 4 through 4, maybe even into a 5th inning for Seattle. Just missed the inside corner. 2-2. Tough take. Brantley shoots one into left center field. On the move, won't catch up to it. Bowers can't quite get there as it bounces over the wall. Michael Brantley 3 for 3, an opposite field double. Brantley a 1-out base runner.
One of that 2-seamer inside. It stayed out over the plate, and Michael Brantley makes him pay, hitting this ball hard and getting it over Bauer's head as it one-hops into the Mariner bullpen.
Astros now with 8 hits. Michael has 3 of them. Yuli Gurriel, who has walked, scored a run, and been hit by a pitch, will bat. Fastball upstairs for a ball. One 0 pitch is a called strike. It's 1-1.
Looks like Keenan Middleton.
Yep. He started the game when McCacken came in out of the bullpen in Colorado. He was the opener. Gurriel pops one up, foul territory. It's put away by Torrens. There's 2 outs. A home run and a double in this inning. And Yordan Alvarez will bat for the 3rd time. It's like a beautiful night out there in Seattle at T-Mobile Park. They had over 30,000 for their game Saturday against the A's. Looks like a little bit of a lighter crowd tonight, obviously, on a Monday night. It'll stay light for a long time out there this time of year. Jordan 1 for 2 RBI single.
Watching the catcher Raleigh set up, really exaggerate where he's setting up, trying to understand it. And the only thing that I can kind of come to the conclusion on is that there's so much movement on that two-seam fastball for McCacken that maybe he's trying to get in off the plate and give that target on the inside and try and get that fastball to run back to the inside corner like that. That's the only thing I can figure out might be happening.
So almost giving him a target where he wants the pitch to start out.
Yeah, exactly. I want you to reach towards me and try and throw the baseball through me, but let the movement bring the pitch back on the outside or the inside corner.
That went off the plate, 2-1.
Now he set up down the middle on the changeup that faded off the outside corner. That's the only thing I can think of, because I haven't seen a guy set up like this since the late 90s with the Atlanta Braves. Javi Lopez.
Way off the plate.
Yeah. Ooh.
Jordan had a pitch to hit there, 2-2. Did you ever see the totals on the Maldonado home run?
I did.
Where did Maldi reach tonight?
394 feet. It came off the bat at 104.2.
Nice.
Yeah, that ball was crushed.
Further than Tucker's or Toro's. Tucker's went 387. Toro's 342. Again, set up way in on Alvarez. Hits a ground ball to the right side, bobbled by Long, recovers, throws out Alvarez for the final out of the inning. But the Astros add to their lead with a solo home run by Martin Maldonado at 7-0. 100 games, 62 to go. Astros fans in their matching rainbow jerseys out there at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Luis Garcia has been very effective tonight, allowing one hit to the leadoff batter, the guy he's facing now, J.P. Crawford. He was erased on a double play, and Garcia's retired 8 in a row since that leadoff hit. The movement on some of the pitches tonight for Luis Garcia are as good as we've seen all year long.
That's been a lot of fun to watch. See the fastball, the cutter, the slider, curveball, changeup.
.92 on that fastball, a little bit below where he's been most of the night.
Yeah, hopefully it just slipped out of his hand.
Couple close takes, and J.P. Crawford ahead of the count, 3-1. There's 38 pitches needed for Luis to get through the first 3 innings. There's a strike. Astros with a big lead in Seattle, 7-0. They came into tonight tied for the best record in the American League. The Red Sox won their game against Toronto 5-4, scoring a couple of runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So for the time being, the Red Sox have taken the lead in that category. Tucker will play it on a hop. He was thinking about going for a diving catch, but instead J.P. Crawford now 2 for 2 with a single to right.
Not hit very hard, just well placed. He's got jammed on a couple of these fastballs. Up out over the plate, off the label. Probably a good idea by Kyle Tucker to not lay out for this one. Force the Mariners to go station to station, get more than one hit to drive in a run.
Mitch Haniger grounded into a double play his first time up. Astros have the shift on against Haniger with 3 on the left side as he swings through the slider or the cutter. It's 0-1. There you see the 3 on the left side with Altuve on the third base side of second. Only the second batter tonight that Garcia's had to work out of the stretch for, and that was Haniger the other time as well. When Garcia faced the Mariners in Houston, the only run he allowed in that start at Minute Maid Park on April 29th was a solo home run by Taylor Trammell. Trammell currently in the minor leagues for Seattle. Try to hold up on a changeup. I like the right on right changeup.
Yeah, interesting to see him go to that pitch. Almost got the check swing or the swing and miss on that. I guarantee you Mitch Haniger did not see that in the scouting report.
He was thinking about a pitch that might get him a ground ball double play again.
Did it again, doubled up on it.
Missing low, the count's 2-2. Now after getting ahead 0-2, the count's gone full. Back-to-back full counts in this inning for Garcia. Trying to hold up, and he goes around. That is a big strikeout for Garcia on a pitch that could have been ball 4.
Yeah, I think Haniger sold out for the fastball. It just couldn't hold up once that cutter started to break off the plate.
Luis Garcia in 100 innings. One of the best all-time rookies in terms of ERA through the first 100 innings. A lot of relievers on that list. A Smith with the lowest ERA.
It's a good way to start things out. Devo making it on there.
How about Devo? Here's Kyle Seager, who flied out to right. Changeup bounces in there. Changeup spin. Missing low in this inning. It's 1-0. Seager, like J.P. Crawford, has played in almost every game this year. He's playing in his 99th game out of 101. Had played 225 straight games before he missed a game on July 10th due to a bruised right shin. Good change up there, 1-1.
It's almost as if he's working on that changeup in this inning.
You're right.
He's thrown quite a few. That was a very good one in that 1-0 count.
Another one.
Yeah.
He's just loading up this inning. He hadn't thrown many coming into this inning. 5 of his 8 in this game have been to the last 2 batters. Fastball for a swinging strike, and the count's 2-2.
Yeah, Seager was late on that one too. Slowed things down with those changeups early in the count. Beat him with that fastball to get that count to 2-2.
Leads the team in walks and in strikeouts, does Seager. As he takes a pitch just off the plate, it's 3-2. Third straight full count for Luis Garcia. Doubt if Crawford will be on the move because Seager does have 106 strikeouts on the year. He bluffs a go, and the pitch is grounded foul. Mariners are, as we said, just a game and a half behind Oakland in the wild card picture, but they are 7 games back of the Astros in the American League West. It'll be interesting to see how the trade deadline does play out for the Mariners, a team that has the longest drought of reaching the postseason of any of the 4 major sports. They have not been into the playoffs since 2001. All 4 pitch down low, and Seager draws his 36th walk of the year. The Mariners have 2 runners on for the first time tonight, and that'll draw a visit from pitching coach Brent Strom.
We've seen Luis labor a little bit in this one. Again, throwing some more changeups than he normally does, missing with them.
Garcia came into this inning with 38 pitches. He's thrown 20 here in the 4th and only recorded 1 out. There's only been 1 baseball of 95 miles an hour or more hit off Garcia tonight. That was Seager's flyout, his first time up. So Ty France will bat. France was a strikeout victim his first time up. France with good numbers this year with runners in scoring position. The Mariners have their first runner in scoring position of the night with Crawford on second base. Ground ball slowly hit back to the mound. Garcia's throw out at second base. Altuve held the bag long enough, according to the second base umpire Trip Gibson. So they force Seager on second. The throw was a little bit off the bag, and Altuve had to avoid the slide while maintaining the bag.
Watch where the umpire is on this. Trip Gibson came to the inside of the diamond, and Luis had to throw over the runner, over the umpire, and to Altuve, who hopefully keeps a spike on it. Hey, that is borderline. It's got to be enough to overturn that out call at second base. They're going to replay this thing as Altuve tried to make that athletic play to make the catch, the out, and avoid the runner.
Ball has to be in the back of the glove. There. Well, I don't know, Blummer. I'm not sure. This one might get overturned.
I agree.
See Gibson looking for that foot around the slide of Seager. Not a good throw by Luis Garcia. And it may cause a bases loaded 1-out situation here, depending on how the review goes.
Yeah, that vicinity rule is gone by the wayside now that replay review is in play.
Hunter Wendelstedt, the crew chief, will give us the sign as he gets off the headset right now. Bases loaded. So the wide throw costing Garcia an out, and now he'll face the rookie catcher Cal Raleigh with 24 big league at bats with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Garcia right here has to keep his composure, focus on the pitches and execute. He's got the stuff to get out of this, and he has a healthy lead to work with. So right now it's just between him and Martin Maldonado on what kind of sequence they want to work with, but execution is everything.
Line drive, base hit, right center field. That'll split the gap and go all the way to the wall. Crawford scores. Seager will score. Ty France being waved home. He's going to score. Bases clearing double by Cal Raleigh. The rookie catcher's driven in 3. It's now a 7-3 game.
We guessed right. Got a fastball he could handle. Wanted it down and away, and it stayed middle down. You can see Maldonado creep back to the middle part of the plate. Raleigh dropped the head on it with that ball settling underneath that right field padded wall. Allowed Ty France to scoot all the way around from first base. Big hit.
Raleigh's 5th, 6th, and 7th career runs batted in. Now the Astros lead down to 4. So Garcia, who looked as good as he possibly could for 3 innings, getting in some trouble here in the 4th. Part of it his own fault with that wide throw on a fielder's choice and error. Dusty Baker is going to say that potentially that ball lodging in the fence should be a ground rule double, and Wolcott will get together with Hunter Wendelstedt and the rest of their crew.
I was wondering about that as you see this just kind of rest underneath the pad. Usually an outfielder will go out there, raise their hands up, force the umpire to make that call.
I mean, it just kind of sat under there.
Yeah, it didn't really wedge itself or lodge itself under there. And
this will not please Scott Service if he has to move Ty France back out to third base, but they are having a long discussion. And now Wendelstedt will explain things to Dusty Baker, which is usually not a good sign. Dusty just walking away. Oh no, they're going to review this. They're going to review this.
Is that a reviewable play?
That's a good question. Ground rule doubles are reviewable, yes. But I don't know.
But it wasn't.
I don't know if the ball was wedged. I mean, does it matter if a ball is just sitting there and just happens to be underneath the lip of the wall?
In the years that I have been on the field and been in situations where the outfielder has had to go to a wall where it has rested underneath the wall, wedged itself, somehow become in a position where you could maybe throw your hands up and say, hey, this is unplayable, and turn it into a ground rule double. It was always, that was the default for the outfielder to go out there and throw the hands up, make the umpire come out and make the call.
They're reviewing this, which is, I think, a good sign. But I don't know if there's a ground rule for that ball that just happened to sit underneath the fence.
Now, I'm just curious if the replay. I wasn't paying much attention to Kyle Tucker. If Kyle actually has to reach underneath and grab that baseball,
right,
that might be an indicator that. So they're going to let the play stand, which I think is appropriate. I think it would have been a different story if Kyle actually went out there, raised his hands, and said, "Nope, ball's underneath the pad. I can't play it."
Yeah, I mean, it really didn't wedge in there. Good try by Dusty.
No, yeah, I can't blame him for that.
But yeah, outfielders now are being taught to just play through it because you can always review it. I don't know. He had to try and play the ball at that point.
Well, you run the risk if you go out there, raise your hands. The hitter continues to run.
Right.
And if it doesn't get overturned or go your way, that runner's gaining an extra 90 to 180 feet.
So Garcia will need to regroup here as he faces Luis Torrens, who struck out looking his first time up. Starts him off with a strike. There's a line drive into center field. Straw with a good jump, though, makes the catch. Quick throw back to the bag. Raleigh gets back. Well, Torrens hits it hard, but he's out number 2.
Hit some fastballs hard against Luis Garcia in this inning. Good play by Miles Straw coming in to make that grab. That fastball was at 92 miles an hour.
Yeah, the fastball velo's been a little bit down this inning.
I feel like it's been 2 to 4 miles an hour down. Topped out at 94 in this inning.
Garcia's only allowed 4 runs as his season high and his career high. Mariners got 3 runs on 1 swing in this inning. As Jared Kelenic bats. Breaking ball misses low. And that ball Torrens hit fastball at 91.9. That was the lowest velocity of any of his fastballs tonight. Kelenic, a high pick by the New York Mets. Part of the trade with Edwin Diaz and Robinson Cano going from Seattle to the New York Mets. He was one of the prize pieces in the return for the Mariners. Kelenic was drafted in the first round by New York, number 6 overall. That was in 2018. 94 misses low, 2-0. I mean, it was absolutely easy. Comfortable rhythm. Looking great for 3 innings, a 4th inning. It has been a different Luis Garcia out there.
Yeah, we were marveling at his ability to locate basically 5 pitches. Struck out 5 straight hitters between the 2nd and 3rd innings.
Getting a little frustrated out there. It's 3-0. He's gone from 38 pitches through 3 to 65, and we still are in the 4th.
Nobody loosening in that Astro bullpen. Luis Garcia trying to maneuver through this 4th inning.
There's a strike. error prolonging the inning. A couple of hits and a walk in the inning as well. Big blow at bases clearing double by Cal Raleigh. Kelenic fouls one away. It's 3-2. Four of the last 5 starts for Garcia have been at home. The only one on the road in his last 5 before tonight was a start June 24th at Detroit. Mariners making him work this inning.
There's been a couple of 3-2 counts in this inning.
4th one. First 3 batters, Crawford, Haniger, Seager, and now Kelenic. Pretty big pitch coming up here in the scheme of things for Garcia. Does not want to have to start with a fresh batter with a new count. Already 30 pitches into this inning. Oh, beautiful pitch. Broke over the curveball for a called 3rd strike. Picks up his 7th strikeout, one off his career high. But 3-run score for the Mariners, and it's 7-3. So we head to the 5th inning. Astros will have Carlos Correa, Kyle Tucker, and Abraham Toro due up, facing the new pitcher, Keenan Middleton.
Middleton throws hard. That fastball averaging around 95 miles an hour. You see 25 games. He has a 5.40 ERA. Some of that ERA was inflated in that last outing where he went an inning, gave up 5 earned runs in Colorado. But against the Astros, he's faced him 17 times in his career and has a career 2.93 ERA.
Correa has doubled and tapped one in front of the plate, grounding out. He's 1 for 2. Darren McCacken in his first major league start goes 4 innings, allowed 8 hits and 7 runs. Astros got him for 3 home runs tonight. Tucker, Toro, and Maldonado, as Correa misses 96 after facing McCacken, who didn't throw any harder than 89 all night. Now Middleton comes in throwing 96. He was the opener last time when he was out in Colorado. Correa into left center field. That'll be down. Carlos Correa digging for 2. He has his 2nd double of the night. Carlos, who was in the midst of a tough stretch there, 1 for 40, now has 3 hits in his last 5 at-bats.
He's had some good swings on these doubles, both of them going to left center field. Slider hanging out over the middle of the plate. It's always interesting to watch how pitchers go after hitters. He beat Carlos up top with 96 and then threw a slider out over the plate. And good recognition and a very good swing from Carlos Correa puts him at second base to start this inning.
You can hear some Astros fans in Seattle. Here's Kyle Tucker. Tucker with a big 3-run blast his first time up. He's also grounded out. Big swing at 97. No contact. Tucker is now homered 4 times in his last 6 games with that 3-run shot. His 19th of the year. Is fouled back. Tucker down to the count 0-2. Astros have seen a lot of Keenan Middleton through the years as part of the Angels bullpen. Pitched with Los Angeles from 2017 through last season. Signed with the Mariners as a free agent this offseason. That's upstairs. It's 1-2. Sugarland's game in Oklahoma City ended. We told you Alex Bregman went 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Pedro Baez did pitch a shutout inning in that game. Allowed 1 hit and 1 walk in 1 inning. Baez making his 2nd appearance in his minor league rehab. Tucker stays alive.
I would imagine it's going to be an extended rehab assignment for Pedro Baez, who did pitch in spring training. These are the first outings of the season for him.
Dusty said he wouldn't anticipate seeing Baez on this road trip, which is a 10-day trip.
I would imagine they probably want to get him in a couple of back-to-back outings before he's able to get up here.
.90-mile-an-hour changeup getting Tucker. Middleton picks up a strikeout, 1 away in the 5th inning.
Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer are bringing their Hella Mega Tour to Houston this Thursday, July 29th. Come experience the best concert of the summer at Minute Maid Park. Get your tickets today at astros.com/HellaMega.
Now Middleton will face Abraham Toro. Toro's solo home run his first time up. Hitting his 2nd home run in the span of 3 at bats going back to yesterday. All of Toro's home runs this year have come against right-handed pitchers. Earlier I said he had hit all his home runs left-handed. He actually had 1 right-handed against the right-handed knuckleballer Mickey Janis. That was a 3-run home run in Baltimore. So 5 of his 6 home runs this year have been as a left-handed hitter. Fastball for a strike. Astros batted around in the 1st inning, scoring 6 runs. Tucker and Toro back-to-back home runs. .97 up. It's 3-1.
All right, get it ready right here, Toro. 3-1. Middleton likes that fastball. You've had a couple of time up. See if you can't get one to hit right here.
First time Toro has faced Middleton.
Chase.
Got a fastball at the top of the zone and fouled it back. Probably a good thing for Luis Garcia after that long 4th inning that he's had a little extra time here. In the 5th inning, Correa starting off with a double and a couple of deep counts to Tucker and Toro. Just missed the top of the zone. Good take by Toro. He draws a walk. Astros have 2 on with 1 out.
Good take by Toro. A lot of fastballs up in the zone. Did a good job of laying off that one to get himself that walk. Middleton throws hard. Said he likes that fastball. Over 50%. 2 right-handed hitters, but might as well even it out between that and the slider and go 50-50 as far as the mindset is. Can be a little more aggressive on that fastball if you're a left-handed hitter.
Well, Straw will bat for the 3rd time tonight in the 5th inning, and he takes a fastball up. Miles is flied out to right and grounded out. Mariners do not shift Miles Straw the other way like most teams in the AL West do. Center fielder Jared Kelenic is straight up, almost a little bit closer to left field than center field.
Great pickup, TK.
And Haniger is not close to the line in right.
Especially after the way we saw Joey Gallo and the Texas Rangers really play him shading to the right and shallow.
Fastball misses outside, 2-1. And they might be the only team that doesn't shade him the other way in the outfield.
Yeah, Mitch Haniger is playing deep.
Missed that fastball. It's 2-2. Here you see where the center fielder Kelenic is. Slightly to pull against Straw, especially against a guy that throws 95, 96. I don't know if
no doubt
many teams would play Straw there. This is that fastball. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Middleton, 2 outs. Martin Maldonado will bat with 2 outs and 2 on.
Middleton didn't get to that slider, just kept going with the fastball against Miles.
Maldonado hitting the furthest baseball of the night his last time up. He pounded a home run to the back of the Astros bullpen. He was on that fastball and fouled it straight back.
Another StatCast on Maldonado's home run. That ball blasted deep into the night. 394 feet. Hitting that back wall of the bullpen.
Middleton through his career has been a guy that has struck out more than 9 per 9. He's got 96 strikeouts in 95 and 2/3 innings coming in to this season. And then this year the strikeouts have been down a little bit for him. 25 innings, 17 strikeouts, but he does have 2 strikeouts in this inning. catches the umpire on that foul ball, but Wolcott seems to be okay. It's 1-2.
Yeah, it looked like it caught more of the chest protector than it did anything else.
Correa on second. He had a leadoff double. He has stayed there through 3 batters. Toro on first. He walked.
Good take by Maldi.
There's a ball to left field. That'll be down for a hit. Correa being waved home. He's going to score. Martin Maldonado. Another RBI. The Astros lead this game 8-3.
Great piece of hitting by Martin Maldonado. Got that slider, slashed it into left field to drive in that 2-out RBI. Great job of staying on that pitch by Martin. Does get it a little bit off the end of the bat, but enough to shoot it into left field. Carlos Correa scores easily. Big hit.
Maldonado with 2 RBIs tonight, 25 on the season. He has given the Astros their 7th and 8th runs tonight, as they now lead by 5 with Jose Altuve batting with first and second. Altuve pops one up. Playable for J.P. Crawford, the shortstop, in fair territory for the final out of the inning. But the Astros score a run on 2 hits, 2 men left on base. It is 8-3 Astros. Home run to lead off the 4th, and then added a run with an RBI single in the 5th inning. Try and get Luis Garcia through the 5th inning with more efficient pitch count. He had a lot of pitches in that 4th inning, 31 in all. So face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Shed Long Jr., Jake Bauers, and J.P. Crawford. First pitch swinging is Shed Long, and he has a base hit to right. That's how the inning started in the 4th when Crawford singled to right. So Garcia, who's allowed 4 hits now, allowing a leadoff base runner in the 5th. Number 9 hitter Jake Bauers will bat. He flied out to center field his first time up. That fastball to Shed Long was his lowest velocity fastball of the night.
I noticed that too. 91.
I mean, earlier in the night he was 96 consistently, usually 95, 96 early on, but now, as this game's gone along, first pitch of the inning was 91. Drops in a breaking ball for a strike to Bauers. How about that pitch?
Kind of buggy whipped a changeup in there. Some filthy movement, tailing away.
I do not remember his changeup having this kind of movement.
No. Yeah, the good ones have been very good. The bad ones have been in the dirt. So you know, if you're going to miss, you don't want to miss out over the plate. So I've got no problem with some of those ones being yanked a little bit and being put in the dirt. But when he's had them up near the zone, they've been moving pretty good. I believe that was a cutter at 85, 86. We've seen those at 88 earlier in the game.
Bauer started his season with the Cleveland Indians, played 43 games with Cleveland. Acquired from Cleveland on June the 10th. Now 32 games with Seattle. Bauer's just 25 years old, playing with his third major league team of his career. Started his career with Tampa Bay. Garcia has 7 strikeouts tonight, 1 off his career high, which he's done 4 times. Fastball fouled back. Got him with the changeup. Garcia picks up his 8th strikeout, matching his career high. 1 out in the 5th.
That was dirty. Pitch before was a fastball fouled straight back. Come back with the changeup down and away. Get that swing and miss. It was beautifully done.
Might be
way out front.
I was going to say, this might be the best changeup I've seen from him. Now will face another left-handed hitter, J.P. Crawford. He has not retired Crawford yet. He's 2 for 2 with a run scored. Nice breaking ball for a strike. Just missed a little low. It's 1-1.
Looks like Ryan Weber, the right-hander for the Seattle Mariners, getting loose.
Astros no movement in their bullpen as Garcia is at 77 pitches. There's a fastball pop foul. J.P. Crawford began his career in Philadelphia. Came over in the deal that sent Gene Segura to the Phillies. On the ground against the shift into left field for a base hit. Crawford is 3 for 3 with an opposite field single. And the Mariners have 2 on with 1 out.
Just gets on top of this one and slaps it the other way, beating that shift being played against him. There you can see Toro in that shortstop position. Nothing he can do as that ball is just pushed the other way.
That's now 5 hits for the Mariners, 4 of them coming in the last 2 innings as Mitch Haniger will bat. Haniger has been the Mariners' best hitter all year, 0 for 2 tonight. Changeup for a strike. Garcia's gotten away from that fastball for most of this inning. He threw one to Shed Long, one to Jake Bowers, and two to J.P. Crawford. Gets a cutter there. It's 0-2.
Yeah, getting down that off speed.
Haniger not playing that first game this year in Houston when Garcia started against the Mariners, so he's facing him tonight for the first time. Got him. Career high 9 strikeouts for Luis Garcia. Froze Mitch Haniger. And there's 2 outs in the inning.
Nicely done by Luis Garcia. Threw that cutter at 86. Backs up and stays right on that bottom edge, fooling Mitch Haniger to get that 9th K.
That'll bring up Kyle Seager. Now the Astros bullpen starts to move a little bit. Brian Abreu has grabbed the baseball. Swing and a miss at another good changeup. Changeup has been a big pitch tonight for Luis Garcia, especially second and third time through the lineup.
Well, as good as that fastball was the first couple of times through that lineup, you're right, TK, moving off that, taking advantage of the movement and that change in velocity.
Even though he's only at 84 pitches, this very well could be his last inning, as he's really had to work hard the last couple. As he picks up a swinging strike on Seager, it's 0-2.
Great location on that cutter. Changeup fading away, cutter breaking down and in. He's covered both sides of the plate.
Abreu just beginning his warm-up tosses in the last couple of pitches to Seager. Seager's flied out to right, walked and scored a run. His run that scored was an unearned run as he reached second base on an error by Garcia. Tried to get him to chase the changeup. It doesn't. It's 1-2. They stay in rotation. Garcia should pitch the final game in San Francisco on Sunday. Second start of this road trip. That ball drilled deep to right field, and that is a 3-run home run. Seager hits the fastball out to right. Most runs ever allowed by Luis Garcia in a start, and it's now an 8-6 game.
The velocity jumped back up to 95, but it just caught a lot of the plate. The veteran Kyle Seager got a hold of it. They wanted it elevated. It stayed middle. Somebody might want to go and have a conversation with Luis Garcia in this moment. Just give Abreu a little bit more time to get loose out there. Carlos Correa's the man.
Astros led this game 7-0. It's now an 8-6 game. Looks like Dusty will give him at least one more hitter here. Ty France will bat. No, Dusty's going to come out. That was just a stall tactic. So Abreu will be the new pitcher. Garcia allows a career high 6 runs tonight. 5 of them will be earned. And it'll be a frustrating night for him. He was 1 out away from qualifying for a win before that 3-run home run. We'll be back with a new pitcher after this. Brand new ball game. The Astros led big 7-0. It's now an 8-6 game as Brian Abreu takes over with 2 outs in the 5th.
Pretty good job in 28 games this season. Looked good of late. Fastball jumping out of the hand. He's been in some tough situations in here to keep this game right where it's at, get out of it, and allow this offense to go back to work.
Luis Garcia, who does not allow many home runs, allows a 3-run home run with 2 outs in the 5th to Kyle Seager. Last batter he faced. That was only his 3rd home run allowed in his last 10 starts, and he got the Mariners back in the game. Abreu's been heavy on that slider lately as he starts Ty France off with a slider. France 0 for 2 tonight against Luis Garcia. Misses that slider. It's 1-1. And you can see why he'd be so prevalent with the slider, because it's a good one.
I feel like it's been more consistent in the zone for Brian Abreu also. Sometimes that fastball can be a little bit erratic.
Into center field. Straw comes on, makes the catch for the final out of the inning. Mariners get 3 in the 4th, 3 more in the 5th. It's 8-6 Astros. Bish, Ian Kinsler, Curtis Granderson also on that list.
It's also the anniversary of Craig Biggio being enshrined in the Hall of Fame. 2015 when he made his speech.
Big date for Craig Biggio, July 26th. As the Astros lead 8-6 as we head to the 6th inning. Mariners will go to the bullpen once again for a new pitcher.
It's Eric Swanson, the right-hander for the Seattle Mariners. Great numbers on the season. In 13 games, a .55 ERA. 18 strikeouts to 6 walks on the season for Swanson. Fastball, slider, and occasional split mixed in there.
Michael Brantley, first pitch swinging, fouls one out of play. Brantley already with a 3-hit night going. A couple of infield hits and a double into left center field. Astros led 6-0 after 1, 7-0 going into the bottom of the 4th. Mariners scoring 3 in the bottom of the 4th, 3 more in the bottom of the 5th on a Kyle Seager 3-run home run. Right now, Martin Maldonado's home run and RBI single the difference in this game. It's 8-6. Swanson, a 27-year-old right-hand pitcher. Getting ahead of Brantley here, 1-2. It'll be Brantley, Yuli Gurriel, and Yordan Alvarez.
That's the split from Swanson. He'll be primarily fastball split to left-handed hitters.
Another one bouncing in there. And the count's gone full. Luis Garcia was cruising along with a big lead through 3 innings. Ran into trouble in both the 4th and the 5th innings. And did not last long enough to qualify for the win. Up the middle, played there by J.P. Crawford in the shift. Brantley retired for the first time tonight, and there's one away.
Talked about that fastball split to lefties. There you see it, 73% fastballs. He'll throw close to 70% fastballs to right-handed hitters, and he'll move off the split to the slider, breaking away from right-handed hitters.
Swanson was on the injured list from the end of May until July 7th. He's currently on an active streak of 7 straight innings without allowing a run, as that fastball misses outside to Yuli Gurriel. Yuli, one official at bat, has walked, scored a run, been hit by a pitch, and also popped up. In the air center field, Jared Kelnick comes in, and there's 2 outs. Nobody warming for the Astros, so Brian Abreu will be back out for the 6th inning after getting the final out in the 5th. I'll bring up Yordan Alvarez. Alvarez 1 for 3 tonight, an RBI and a run scored. A 6-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. Swanson was part of that deal from the Yankees that sent James Paxton to New York. Never pitched at the big league level with the Yankees. Made his big league debut in 2019 with the Mariners. Fastball misses low. It's 3-1. Astros 8 runs on 10 hits. Mariners 6 runs on 6 hits. Full count here to Yordan Alvarez. Upstairs, ball 4. As the 3rd walk allowed by Seattle pitching tonight, in Yordan, a 2-out base runner. I'll bring up Carlos Correa, who seems to have things going. 3 for his last 5, including a walk going back to yesterday's game. 2 for 3 tonight with a couple of doubles.
Yeah, Carlos doubled on a fastball early, drove in a run, and then that 3rd at bat in the 5th inning got a slider from Keenan Middleton and ripped it into left center field.
In on his hands, 1-0.
Yeah, the command of the fastball from Swanson, a little elusive here between Yordan Alvarez and Carlos Correa. Maybe he could lose control and throw one right down the middle and let Carlos take a pass at it.
Another fastball that misses, 2-0. Both the Astros and Mariners playing game number 101 on the season. First of an 8-game road trip for Houston. Mariners played a 4-game series against the A's as part of a 7-game homestand. They will head on the road after this series and head towards the Lone Star State to take on the Rangers after an off day on Thursday. Astros will head to San Fran with an off day on Thursday as well. 2-1 pitch is popped up on the infield. Second baseman Shed Long Jr. makes the catch for the final out of the inning. A walk, one man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 8-6 Houston. Was looking to put a 0 on the board as the M's have scored 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th. Todd Callis, Jeff Blum, Kaylee Griffin filling in for Julia Morales this week. It'll be Cal Raleigh and Luis Torrens, Jared Kelnick. 5, 6, 7 in the Mariners lineup. Raleigh drove in 3 with a bases clearing double his last time up. 2 big swings in this game for Seattle. The 3-run double by Raleigh and the 3-run home run by Seager. Luis Garcia had never allowed more than 4 runs in any outing of his major league career until tonight, when he allowed 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Martin Maldonado thinking that tipped the bat. It does not. It's 1-1.
Seemed like Maldi was pretty convinced it did.
Good fastball, 96 miles an hour past Raleigh. It's 1-2.
Yeah, that ball jumped through the zone.
3 years at Florida State for Cal Raleigh. He was a 3rd-round pick of the Mariners in 2018. Grew up in North Carolina, but not in Raleigh.
That's weird.
Graduated from Smoky Mountain High School in North Carolina. Counts 1-2. Abreu right now would be the pitcher of record for the Astros. Garcia going 4 2/3 innings. Abreu came in to get the final out in the 5th. Chased the fastball and fouls it back. We don't get many games where Astros after dark in the 7th inning stretch are coming in around the same time. But we're on that pace tonight.
It is a special night, TK.
We're right in that wheelhouse. What were you saying earlier about Kaylee Griffin's time of games?
Yeah. We're just trying. I mean, sports is about being consistent.
Yep. Swing and a miss.
That's one thing you can say about me.
Swing and a miss. Abreu gets Raleigh for a strikeout.
Well, the good news is this going to be your first Astros after dark, Kaylee?
Oh, it is.
All right, so we take the governor off.
Yep. There are no rules in 20 minutes. All FCC rules.
We still have a lot of game too.
Oh yeah.
We get into a lot.
To enjoy it, yeah.
We could be in big trouble.
Yeah, you're right. I think a lot of people might be worried about me, but to be determined.
It's Luis Torrens' turn to bat. He is struck out and lined out. There's a slider bouncing outside for a ball. Torrens is struck out, lined out. The bottom part of the lineup. Bottom 4 hitters 1 for 8 tonight against Luis Garcia. Damage done by the first 5 in the lineup. Ooh, could have gone his way. A little bit low, 2-0. Only other American League West team playing tonight. Texas has the day off. Oakland has a day off. The Los Angeles Angels at home in Anaheim. They lead their game 5-2 against the Rockies. That's in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's the only other game still going on in the major leagues. Shohei Ohtani pitched 7 innings of 1-run baseball tonight. A couple of close pitches just missing for Abreu in this at bat. It's 3-1.
I give Quinn Walcott, the home plate umpire, a lot of credit. He's really stayed to his zone. Some of these pitches have been very good, just off the edges, but not giving in to either side. Which translates to hitter friendly.
Yes. Ball 4. You know who hit another home run in that Angels game tonight?
Shohei Ohtani.
No, although he did go 1 for 4 with an RBI. Super Jack. Jack Mayfield. Now with 4 home runs on the year. I think they're mostly recent too.
Yeah, he's been on a tear for the Angels. He's also got the lowest ERA of any Seattle Mariner this year.
Jack Mayfield, since a game against the Mariners on July 17th, has hit 4 home runs in a span of 9 games. It's unbelievable. One of our favorite Astros of all time. Abreu missing to Jared Kelenic, 1-0. Kelenic struck out twice tonight against Garcia. Garcia ended up with a career high in strikeouts, 9, but also a career high in runs with 6. Now all of a sudden Abreu is missed with 6 out of 7, and there's Blake Taylor beginning to loosen up. Kelenic is the first of 4 consecutive lefties, so Abreu doesn't get it together soon. You would think Taylor would be in there at some point with those 4 lefties in a row.
Yep. I agree with you. Battle of the bullpens here the rest of the way between the Mariners and the Astros.
Fastball fouled back, 2-1. .96 dotted up at the knees. A lot of reports on Twitter about the A's acquiring a reliever tonight. Left-hander Andrew Chafin in a trade with the Cubs. Not official, but numerous sources reporting the deal. I guess they did announce it just 27 minutes ago. The Athletics announcing the acquisition of Andrew Chafin. So A's get a little bit better in their bullpen with that deal. We've seen the Padres make a move yesterday, getting Adam Frazier, the All-Star, who is leading the major leagues in hits from the Pirates. Nelson Cruz going to Tampa Bay last week. Rich Hill going to the New York Mets. And Jock Peterson going from the Cubs to the Braves. We're just kind of in the appetizer phase of this trade deadline week.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how it unfolds because of the only trade deadline being on July 30th, not that waiver trade opportunity later in the month or later in August. So it's going to kind of force the hands of some of these GMs to go out and make some moves.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Abreu on a 3-2 pitch, getting Kelenic for the second out of the inning.
Going with the 3-2 breaking ball and got Kelenic down in the zone. It is now the hat trick for Kelenic in this game. A couple of strikeouts against Garcia, now 1 against Abreu.
So now Shed long bats. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. That slider gets through Maldonado. Advancing to second is Luis Torrens. A big turn, but he'll hold up there. A pitch in the dirt. Advanced Torrens 90 feet.
Pretty tough to sneak it through there. Down maybe just a hair late, but found a small opening and got to the backstop.
Ground ball the other way. That'll get through for a hit. The pitch that got through to the backstop cost the Astros a run. RBI single by Shed Long. Now it's a one-run game. Mariners matching their highest run total in the month of July with 7 runs. It's now 8-7.
Actually made a good pitch. Shed Long hit this one off the end of the bat. But that shift being employed, Toro the only one on that side of the diamond with no shortstop. That gets through easy and the run scores. So the Seattle Mariners showing some come from behind type offense to get back in this ball game.
Dusty Baker out to the mound with the lefty Blake Taylor warming up. Lefty Jake Bauers due up. We'll have a pitching change here. Abreu will leave. A runner on in an 8-7 game in the bottom of the 6th inning. Now on first base, Blake Taylor takes over.
Out of the bullpen 26 times this season. Opponents hitting .239. 24 strikeouts to 13 walks for Blake Taylor. He's had that good fastball in the low 90s. Sometimes he can reach that mid 90s. Also has that slider. Pitch against Texas on the 24th. Won an inning, had a couple of strikeouts, throwing 23 pitches.
We mentioned the Mariners have only a 2-man bench, but one of those two will be used here. Dylan Moore will pinch hit for Jake Bauers. Moore, who's versatile and can play any position, will pinch hit here against the lefty Blake Taylor. So the Mariners have come all the way back, down 7-0, trail it 8-7, and have the tying run on first base. Wild pitch in this inning really hurt Brian Abreu as Shed Long Jr. singled home a run. After the wild pitch advanced Luis Torrens to second. Takes a fastball outside. It's 2-0. Dylan Moore on the season, batting .185, 9 home runs, 30 runs batted in. .220 hitters against lefties this year. Taylor gets that call on a 2-0 pitch. It's 2-1. Brian Abreu going an inning in relief of Luis Garcia. Blake Taylor, the third pitcher of the night for the Astros. Shed Long's only stolen 1 base this year. He's 1 for 1. Runner goes. Throw by Maldonado. Safe. Jose Altuve saying, or did he change the call? Oh, the batter struck out. There you go. So Dylan Moore strikes out. The play at second irrelevant. Astros through 6, lead at 8-7. Allowed a walk to Yordan Alvarez. That was his 8th consecutive shutout inning. Tucker misses the fastball. Kyle with a 3-run home run his first time up. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Dylan Moore, who pinch hit, stayed in the game. He's now playing second base. Shed Long has moved from second base to left field. Jake Bauers out of the game.
Scott Servers trying to get multiple innings out of Swanson. Talked about Hector Santiago not being in that bullpen, serving that suspension. First 3 outings of the season for Swanson were multi-inning outings, but since then he has been a 1 inning or less guy.
That Angels game's over, so we are the final game on the ledger tonight, Glover.
Yes.
And we've just started the 7th.
Save my best stuff for about 2 minutes from now.
Tucker pops one foul down the left field side. Long run Seager. He'll get there. Kyle puts it away for the first out of the 7th. After the 6-run first inning, the Astros' 2 runs have come from the bottom of the lineup. Martin Maldonado with a solo home run and then an RBI single. Astros, a couple of hits in the 4th, a couple of hits in the 5th. There's Abraham Toro batting for the 4th time. He has hit a home run. He has struck out and walked. Takes a fastball on the outside edge. The Astros played the Mariners in Seattle for the first series of the year against them. They scored a total of 8 runs, lost 2 out of 3 games. Tonight they've scored 8 runs in the first game, but they're in a battle. Pitch upstairs, 2-1. Plummer, we've hit it.
Oh yeah. Wait for it. There it was.
Astros after dark in the 7th inning. 1 out. We have never had a rooms to go Astros after dark.
Oh man, it's going to be good.
I might have to join you today.
What?
I might have to.
How about it?
Toro in the left field. Pretty well hit. Long all the way back. He's being called off by Jared Kelenic. That ball kept carrying for Abraham Toro the other way, but it's just allowed out.
Shed Long moving out there into left field from second base, and Kelenic was all over it, tracking it, calling it, and eventually making the play. That ball had some carry on it.
That really carried well.
Warm evening out there in Seattle. Game time temp at the start was 80 degrees.
Miles Straw looking for his first hit. Miles and Jose Altuve, the only 2 Astros in the lineup who have not been on base tonight. Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a time I would join you on the Rooms to Go Lounge, it would be Astros After Dark.
You better think of something quick.
I mean, what are the options?
Anything you want.
We'll check swing foul ball. It's 0-2.
You didn't bring.
I'll just follow your lead.
I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Okay.
It's usually spur of the moment. I have a pretty good idea.
All right, we'll make it up as we go.
I'm good for it. There are two people in this studio right now in full panic.
And it's not you and it's not me.
Not Kaylee.
Not Kaylee. 0-2 pitch in the air to right field. Playable for Mitch Haniger. And that'll do it for the Astros. 7th inning stretch time at T-Mobile Park. Astros leading 8-7. Time for us to check in with Kevin Eschenfelder and Brian Bogusevic in our Rooms to Go Lounge.
And we do so at
Mitch Haniger and Kyle Seager. Keep in mind with this one-run game that Ryan Pressly has been used each of the last 2 games. Pressly came on in a 4-0 game on Saturday against the Texas Rangers. Allowed a home run in that appearance in 1 inning of work, and then pitched yesterday. Only needed 11 pitches to pick up the save in that 3-1 win. So not sure if Pressly's available tonight. Ryan Stanek has begun to warm up on his birthday as the count's 0-1 to J.P. Crawford. I would think that Taylor's in there for at least the first 3 batters, with Seager batting 3rd in this inning. Crawford's having a perfect night. He's 3 for 3 with a couple of runs scored.
All right, TK, how did it feel?
It's a little weird because you're off headset, so you're just kind of floating out there. You're on headset the whole game.
Yeah, you're tethered.
You're tethered.
And then you're just free as a bird in the 7th inning.
I just kind of followed your lead, and then I got stuck in the middle. You kept going.
It was outstanding.
But yeah, don't count on that regularly. I'm hoping this might be our only Astros After Dark / Rooms to Go combo.
Me too. we don't need to be doing that too often.
We appreciate people who've hung with us tonight. It's been a game that looked really good for the first few innings. Looked like the Astros were in command. And then the Mariners, to their credit, have really turned things around, as Stanek turning 30 years old today, warming up in the bullpen. Pitch misses outside. Another good at bat here by J.P. Crawford. The count's gone full.
He's had himself quite the night.
Into center field. Straw's there. Astros retire Crawford for the first time tonight on a fly ball to center field.
That is a good start, keeping that leadoff man off the base paths.
I'll bring up Mitch Haniger. Haniger struggled with Luis Garcia, a couple of strikeouts, including his career high 9th strikeout tonight. Also grounded into a double play. One and one.
Astros have done a good job against Mitch Haniger. A couple of strikeouts, double play. I also like the fact that Taylor, left-handed, is not afraid to come inside, trust that fastball, Haniger has a tendency sometimes to dive a little bit, try and tie him up on the inside. There you go. Good pitch. Taylor's looked good since coming off the injured list. Kendall Graveman getting loose, starting to get to some of the big boys in that Mariner bullpen.
A little surprising to see him up here.
It's only the 7th inning. Going to be the top of the 8th next inning. Usually he's closing those games out at home.
Yeah, and I'm a little curious how Dusty has it lined up in his head with Stanek warming up now. That might mean that Presley would be available for a 3rd straight day. We'll find out. How do you lay off that pitch? That was a good take, 3-2.
I'm with you. You're just hoping that the hitter offers it that, either buries it in the ground for a ground ball or swings over the top.
Oh, there it was again. Went right back to it.
It was beautifully done by Blake Taylor. That'll give you some life. There it is, that slider grip on her matches from Supermo. Haniger held up on one, couldn't hold up on this one.
He set the bait out there, didn't bite the first one, but got him with the next one. Here's Kyle Seager. Seager hitting that big 3-run home run that changed it from an 8-3 game to an 8-6 game. It came with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Hit a 1-2 fastball out to right field. Last batter Luis Garcia would face tonight. That one fouled away. It's 0-2. Fly ball left field, actually shallow left, to the point where Abraham Toro makes the play for the final out of the inning. 1-2-3-7. Nicely done by Blake Taylor, getting the top 3 hitters in the lineup.
Garcia, 43% of the votes. Thank you all so much for voting. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. We'll have another poll question coming your way tomorrow. Overall, tough outing for Garcia tonight, guys, but a career-high 9 strikeouts, that's certainly a good thing.
Yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag for him. I mean, the strikeouts were nice, but the big lead early, and you thought he was cruising along after 3. It just didn't work out in the 4th and the 5th innings for him.
Yeah, it was a tale of 2 starts, really. The first 4 innings looking very good for Luis Garcia, and then things falling apart a little bit for him as Kendall Graveman, usually the closer for the Seattle Mariners, in this 8th inning to face 9-1-2 for the Houston Astros. Very good numbers on the season with a .84 ERA, 32 strikeouts to 7 walks, and as you can see, 10 saves out of 12 opportunities.
Facing Martin Maldonado, taking a called strike. Graveman, who throws harder now out of the bullpen than he used to as a starter, knows he can let it eat a little bit without having to save any bullets. Kind of gone away from the curve and the cutter, which he had as a starter. Now just sinker, slider, change, an occasional 4-seamer. Graveman started his career with the Oakland A's. Never made a relief appearance with the A's. Didn't make a relief appearance until last year when he joined Seattle. Still made 2 starts last year for Seattle, but 9 relief appearances. One of his 2 starts last year came against the Astros. Maldonado tries to hold up, and he does. 2-2. Gets a lot of strikeouts against righties with that slider.
Yeah, since he's been in that bullpen, everything has been power, power, power. But you can see there's still good 2-seam run. Having that pitch come back and maybe clip just an outside edge.
Wow. Tough pitch.
And it gives the illusion to the umpire that it is coming back to catch that outside corner when you have that kind of movement. But really tough to stay on that pitch, especially at that velocity at 97. I'm not sure if you caught it, but when that ball was in his hand coming forward, you could see that 2-seam grip.
Lots of matchups between these two, Jose Altuve and Kendall Graveman. And Altuve lines one to left, but it's playable for Shedlong Jr. Altuve retired on 1 pitch. He's now 0 for 5 tonight. And that'll bring up Michael Brantley. Brantley, a 3-hit night tonight. Came into the game with a dozen 3-hit games. He was tied for first with Yuli Gurriel and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in that category. So now the league leader with 13. Vlad had 2 hits tonight in their game in Boston. 2-0 the count. Astros trying to maintain pace with the Red Sox for the best record in the American League. Brantley fouls 98 back. It's 2-1. Astros getting to 61 wins in their first 100 games. That's happened 4 straight years where there's been a full season. Joined a nice select group of teams through the years. Only 9 of them that have won 61 or more in their first 100 games for 4 straight full seasons. Only the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 1950s and the New York Yankees also in the 50s with more consecutive seasons, going 61 and 39 or better for 4 straight years.
Yeah, it's been an incredible run for the Houston Astros organization as far as W's are concerned. And to be honest, we really didn't know what to expect after last season. Through those 60 games, they ended up coming in 2nd place in the West, but they have come out and thundered through the first 100 games this season.
They are also just below the pace for a 100-win season. 62 and 38 would be a 100-win pace, and if they get to 100 wins this year, they would be the first team ever to have a 100-win season for 4 straight full seasons.
Unreal. First team ever. Wow.
A lot of teams have done that 3 years in a row.
Now, all I can think about recently has been those 90s Yankees teams and Braves teams.
Yeah, the Braves got 3 in a row. The Yankees got 3 in a row. The Orioles have done it.
With what the Astros have done in the last 4 or 5 years is really enlightened my history of baseball.
Yeah.
Really expanded the knowledge because of who the Astros have been being compared to over the years. And by the way, Michael Brantley, 331. Nick Castellanos, 329.
Major league leader.
Yep.
How about it?
With that 3-for-4 night after that walk.
Yuli down in the count 0-2. Gurriel 1-for-6 in his career against Graveman. 5 of his 6 at bats against Graveman. He's hit ground balls. Astros have Ryan Stanek ready to go. He'll pitch the bottom of the 8th. Mariners will have their 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. And then we're not sure what Dusty has in line for the 9th. He has gone with Presley once before with 3 straight games. He may elect to do so again tonight. Graveman was used in that Oakland series back-to-back games, so he didn't pitch yesterday, but here he is pitching his 3rd game in 4 days. And pitching the 8th for the first time in a while for Scott Service. Yuli tried to hold up. He goes around. That'll be a strikeout to end the inning. Graveman picks up a couple of strikeouts in the 8th. 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Ryan Stanek on, the birthday boy, trying to protect an 8-7 lead.
Numbers on the season in 44 games. 3.86. Opponent batting average at 187. 26 walks in those 44 games, but also has 53 strikeouts. Last couple of innings have been very good for Ryan Stanek. In the last 2 innings he's pitched, he's got 5 strikeouts.
Facing the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Mariners, Ty France, Cal Raleigh, and Luis Torrens. Stanek 30 years ago today, born in St. Louis, Missouri, so happy 30th birthday to Ryan Stanek. It's a foul ball on the swing by France. Stanek has been used more than any other Astros reliever this season. 4th pitcher of the night, Luis Garcia for 4 2/3 innings. Brian Abreu for an inning. Garcia giving up 6 runs. Abreu gave up a run, and then Blake Taylor retiring all 4 batters he faced. Nice job by Blake as Stanek gets ahead 0-2 on Ty France. Kendall Graveman pitched the 8th for the Mariners. Paul Sewald is warming up. Normally it's the other way around. Normally it's Sewald in the 8th, Graveman in the 9th, but Sewald looks like he might get the 9th inning. So France sends one foul and out of play.
It almost felt like Service wanted to have Graveman face the top of the lineup for the Astros.
And bringing in his top guns with his team trailing speaks to kind of how important this series is for Seattle.
I completely agree. They wanted to keep this game as tight as possible to allow themselves a chance here at home. Maybe in that last at bat.
Base hit, right center field. Straw hustling to keep France at first, and he does. Nice job by Miles Straw to cut that ball off, but tie France on a 1-2 pitch. A leadoff base runner for the Mariners in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Would have been too good to be true to keep France off the base paths against the Astros. Split finger, diving on the outside corner, and France shoots it the other way. Kind of lost the lower half in his swing, but kept the hands back. Hit that ball pretty hard.
Mariners have had the leadoff base runner on 4 of the 8 innings tonight, including 3 of the last 5 innings. Here's Cal Raleigh. Raleigh has doubled in 3 at bats. Swing and a miss at 99. Astros kicked this game off with a 6-run first inning. 6 consecutive batters reached and eventually scored. They would add another run in the 3rd on a home run by Martin Maldonado to make it 7-0. But then Raleigh started the comeback with a 3-run double. Cleared the bases with 1 out in the 4th inning. And the big blow after Martin Maldonado added another run was the Kyle Seager 2-out 3-run home run in the bottom of the 5th to make it 8-6. Wild pitch was costly as Brian Abreu allowed a run in the next inning to make it 8-7. That's where we are now. 8-7, bottom of the 8th inning. Ryan Stanek facing Cal Raleigh with a runner on and nobody out.
My watch just told me to go to sleep.
Did it?
Yeah, I got to make an adjustment here. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm going to get a
obviously it doesn't read my heart rate.
I'm going to get a bad whoop score tonight, I think.
Oh no.
Yep. My recovery might not be good on this one. Oh, give it to him. Yes, he did. 0-2 pitch. Breaks over the inside corner as Stanek throws a beautiful splitter.
That was a great pitch. Needed that one. Raleigh couldn't believe that one stayed on the inside corner. Yes, he did yank that split a little bit, but still the effective break on it gets that looking strikeout.
Now Luis Torrens will bat. Torrens was the one that walked and advanced to second on the wild pitch against Abreu and scored on a 2-out single by Shedlong Jr. Brooks Raley warming up in the Astros pen. After Torrens, there will be 3 consecutive lefties, actually 4 consecutive 3 out of 4 lefties with Dylan Moore in the number 9 spot. Raley just began warming up. Torrens has hit into 4 double plays this year. Astros would love to see him put one on the ground here. Slider for a strike. Swing and a miss. Stanek gets ahead 0-2.
Yeah, usually the power fastball is effective for Ryan Stanek. We're starting to see some of the power off speed coming through there, getting a big strikeout in the previous hitter, but now working ahead 0-2 to Torrens with the off speed.
Ground ball towards the middle, slowly hit though, so Correa only has the play to first. On the play, Ty France moves into scoring position with 2 outs. Just not hit hard enough.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like how this night is going. They needed that ground ball. They got it, just not hit hard enough to turn it.
Now the young 22-year-old Jared Kelenic, the top prospects in all of baseball, back at the big league level tonight, having a tough night. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts as he'll face Ryan Stanek for the first time. Kelenic on the season batting .102, 12 for 118. Missed upstairs, 1-0. Just off the plate, 2-0. Kelenic's actually hit a little bit better this year against lefties than righties. Righties have held him to a 6 for 74 season. Strom looking on. You would think with Shed Long due up next, this is probably the last batter for Stanek. He would love to finish off the 8th right here. He's fallen behind Kelenic, 2-0.
Yeah, you've got to finish it off right here. Yeah, I'm with you. Continuing to go with the off speed. I was wondering if that conversation was going to be how they were going to get back on that fastball. But against the hitter hitting 102, staying with the off speed.
Rio green light, missed 98.
Service unleashing the rookie. Would imagine he gets another shot at a Ryan Stanek fastball right here.
Perfect pitch at the knees, outside edge. Kelenic didn't like it, but that's as good as it gets from Stanek.
Kelenic doesn't have to like it. That was a pitcher's pitch right there. Just grabbing a couple of seams on that outside corner.
Now the count's full. Three straight fastballs after a 3-0 count. Got behind with the secondary stuff and now challenging with the fastballs.
Good fastballs away too. You know, the violence at which Stanek throws his off speed kind of shies you away from throwing the off speed in 3-2 counts because there is such violent action and movement to the pitches. So I would imagine he's probably going to stay on that fastball. Unless Stanek's trying to shake to that slider, and if this young hitter right here is recognizing what's going on, he may be trying to play a little bit of a mind game with Stanek and Maldonado. Slider may be the option right here.
Throws the slider, but bounces it in there and walks Jared Kelnick to put runners on first and second. 2 outs in the 8th inning, and the lefty Shed Long due up. Dusty Baker is going to go to Brooks Raley. We haven't seen Raley in a while, just came off the injured list. He's going to be put into a big spot here in the bottom half of the 8th. A 1-run game with 2 on. Raley will be in when we come back.
Big spot here in Seattle for the Houston Astros. New pitcher in the game, Brooks Raley.
It's been a while since we've seen Brooks Raley. His last outing was July 4th in Cleveland. He was on the injured list July 8th through the 24th with health and safety protocol issues. So about 16 days away. Did make an injury rehab appearance July 20th in Albuquerque. Also threw a live BP at Minute Maid Park. Raley's inherited more runners than anybody else on this bullpen by a wide margin. These will be his 27th and 28th runners inherited this year. 10 of 26 have scored. He'll face a pinch hitter for Shed Long Jr. Tom Murphy will pinch hit. So Scott Service using both of his bench players in pinch hitting roles, and he misses the slider, swinging strike 1. Well, Murphy hitting for Long with a runner on first and a runner on second with 2 outs.
Service going all in, using his reserve players in pinch hit roles in a big spot.
Already used Dylan Moore in the 6th inning to hit for Bowers. There's a strike on the inside corner. 0-2. Raley in his first outing in over 3 weeks, getting ahead of the count. 0-2. Murphy on the year, batting .205, slightly better against left-hand pitching. He's a .217 hitter against lefties. One and two the count. Murphy hitting for Shed Long here in a big spot. Raley ahead of the count, 1-2.
Raley heavy on that cutter, but you also saw a couple of curveballs trying to be broke in there. Last time they threw that cutter in there, Murphy pulled it foul for a swinging strike to continue this at bat. Tried right there.
Big pitch right here. Don't want to get to 3-2 with 2 outs to give the runners a start. Goes from 0-2 to 3-2. Dylan Moore, who pinch hit in the 6th inning, right-hand hitters on deck. France will be off from second. Kelnick will be off from first. Missed up and away. Walks Murphy to load the bases. That's a tough one, getting ahead 0-2 and then losing them. Now face Dylan Moore.
Yeah, that is the tough thing about getting ahead 0-2 is finding that pitch that you're able to locate or put in a spot where you can put away the hitter. And when I say put away, it doesn't necessarily have to be a swing and miss pitch. It's something you can create soft contact, let that defense make a play behind you. But now you've got the bases loaded, 2 out, and pressure on everybody who's wearing a gray uniform on that field right now.
5 in a row have missed from Raley. Came out and threw 2 strikes, but now he's struggling a little bit finding the zone. That's out of play. While Raley was on the injured list, he and his wife welcomed in their first baby boy. Congrats to them. They have 3 little girls and now a boy. Big spot for Raley here. 1-2 pitch is crushed and deep, and that's a slam. Upper deck grand slam. Dylan Moore has brought the Mariners all the way back to lead 11-8.
Brooks Raley throws a lot of cutters. It's not a secret. This one was up. Dylan Moore opened up and unleashed.
Mariners set their new season high for runs scored. They have come all the way back from a 7-0 deficit. That is the first major league home career grand slam for Dylan Moore. Now Raley facing a lefty.
It's a relatively loud statement from the Seattle Ball Club to these Houston Astros.
Moore did the damage, but if Raley had to do it all over again, he'd attack a little bit more on Murphy, getting ahead 0-2 and not being able to finish him off.
Well, there's a couple of at-bats in this inning that you could really go back to, and it's really the last 3 at-bats. You're right, TK. Yes, attack Murphy in that 0-2 count, try and put him away. But it's also Kelnick. Guy hitting 102 ended up getting a big walk.
Mariners team that does not score a lot of runs, putting up 11 on the Astros tonight. And Raley has just hit J.P. Crawford. Scott Service not happy.
Somebody came out of the Astros dugout also.
Omar Lopez, one of those out there.
There was no intent behind that from Brooks Raley, but Scott Service taking offense to it.
Lance McCullers out there. Dusty Baker out there. Raley hadn't pitched in a while and showed his wildness, getting ahead 0-2 and then walking a batter, and then hung a pitch to Dylan Moore that was hit out, and hitting J.P. Crawford. And now Raley's just been tossed. After all that, why does he get tossed now?
Because they're assuming something exists when it doesn't exist.
This guy hasn't pitched since July 4th. He has shown he hasn't had command. Service basically got him ejected. That's what Maldonado's saying.
No, and he's saying it's a breaking ball.
Yeah.
Why are you going to throw at somebody with a curveball or a cutter?
Cutter, I think.
Yeah.
Adds to his major league lead on the career active list, as he will pitch in the bottom half of the 8th inning with a runner on and 2 outs. This will be career appearance number 809 for Joe Smith.
He'll have plenty of time to go out there and get loose.
We'll be back at it tomorrow, same time. 8:30 pregame, 9:10 first pitch. That'll be Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound for the Astros against Chris Flexen for the Mariners. Day game on Wednesday. Jake Odorizzi against Yusei Kikuchi, the lefty. Off day Thursday, off to the Giants. Best record in all of baseball. Another off day on this road trip Monday, and then the Dodgers for 2. Late arrival Thursday to get ready for the Twins for a 4-game series. Mitch Haniger will be the batter to face Joe Smith. And out. Smith doesn't have to throw a pitch. He picks off J.P. Crawford, who was on first base. How about that? A no-pitch outing for Joe Smith, who picks off the runner to end the 8th. Scott Service is going to make sure that Crawford was out. Crawford ran off the base right away, so I'm thinking he might have known he was out. Uh-oh. Did he get back?
Got to be able to overturn it. The call on the field is out, but you can see him breaking towards second base and having to get back. Catch, the throw was there in plenty of time. Did that glove get on the shoulder? From that angle, you could argue that it did. Hunter Wendelstedt actually was in a pretty good position to get that angle. It's not a more veteran move than Joe Smith picking off immediately in that situation, by the way.
Because you knew J.P. Crawford's mad.
Yep,
just got hit by a pitch. Yeah. A no pitch outing for Joe Smith in his 809th career appearance. You'll see something new at the ballpark.
Him too.
As the Astros need a rally now, down 3 with Yordan Alvarez leading off against the new pitcher for the Mariners. It is Paul Sewald.
Sewald having a good season this season. ERA at 2.37. He has 3 saves out of 4 save opportunities. How about a strikeouts per 9? 15.7.
He has been amazing. He's normally the setup guy for Kendall Graveman. They flipped the roles tonight. Graveman pitching the 8th, and now Sewald getting the 9th.
Doesn't throw hard, but definitely has the funk with that delivery.
Four years with the New York Mets. Signed with the Mariners as a minor league free agent this past offseason. Jordan Alvarez, Carlos Correa, and Kyle Tucker. Astros needing base runners now. 8 runs on 10 hits to 11 runs on 9 hits for the Mariners. Sewald may be a little overamped. He is 3-1 on Jordan. Does have a save this year, but not normally their closer. Jordan thought that pitch missed the corner, but it's called a strike. It's 3-2. Sewald 3 for 4 in save opportunities. Alvarez down on strikes.
Sidearm 3/4 delivery. Jordan going off that outside edge a little bit, maybe because of that call earlier in the at bat, but still a good pitch by Sewald.
Carlos Correa will get an at bat. Correa with a good night tonight. 2 doubles, RBI, couple of runs scored. Thing that hurts the most about tonight's game is so many of these runs for the Mariners coming with 2 outs. The 3-run home run by Kyle Seager came with 2 outs. The RBI single by Shed Long came with 2 outs. That was after a wild pitch with 2 outs. And then Brooks Raley taking over a first and second 2-out situation. A walk after getting ahead 0-2, then a grand slam. The last 8 runs for the Mariners all coming with 2 outs tonight. Correa goes upstairs and misses the fastball. It's 2-2.
And it turned into a bullpen game after that 4th inning. And that's where the Mariners have gone into lockdown. Astros getting 7 runs off of McCacken. And after that, just 1 run off the bullpen of the Seattle Mariners, as opposed to the Astros bullpen giving up 5.
Seager makes the play. Correa retired. Carlos 2 for 5 tonight. 2 outs. Now to bring up Kyle Tucker. Well, we appreciate everybody that hung in there with us past 1 a.m. Central tonight. It's been a tough game for Astros fans. Big lead early. Mariners getting close in the middle innings, and then Dylan Moore's first career grand slam off Brooks Raley, giving the Mariners the lead. Tucker to deep left, and that will do it. Dylan Moore puts that ball away for the final out of this ball game. Probably the toughest loss of the year for the Astros, right up there with that loss at home to San Diego in extra innings, as they led this game 7-0 but lose 11-8. The Mariners now 6 games back in the AL West. We'll have more, including the post-game show, right around the corner.